Hello guys, it's been a long time since I made a video and a lot has happened since then. The last video I believe I made was the Aries video. I've planned on making videos more on the planets and the signs. But today, although I didn't talk very specifically on Aries and I said just very basic things, today I'm going to talk about Taurus. So Taurus people are, well, people like to say they're stubborn. Well, that's not exactly the case. Taurus people are obstinate. They like things to stay the same. They need it. It's a huge part of their ego. If you're a Taurus sun, you need to develop a rut or develop a routine. I like to see, it seems like people call rut the negative version of routine. One thing that I have to get right off the bat is that Taurus, like every other sign, has misconceptions, and for Taurus, there is a misconception that Tauruses are not sociable, that they don't speak. That is completely untrue. Tauruses are actually very sociable. Of course, air sign people around a Taurus, if you're too much airy and you don't have any Taurus in your chart, you may think that they are too to the facts. But they speak very clearly, and they can be really fun in conversation. They love to socialize. That's from what I've seen. And that's even without Gemini traits. Now, if you added a Gemini trait, they're going to be more outgoing and wanting to leave their house. With a strong focus on Taurus, there'll be a very strong focus on food and relaxation and kind of like push away from other things. But they're actually really intellectual people. They're very smart, but they don't like to go beneath the surface. Geminis do like to gather information, but they're more about communicating it. They don't care about the facts. They kind of like knowing that other people are sharing and going back and forth. Tauruses do like to know stuff. They like to know the facts. They're easy to talk with. You know, maybe that's just me. I get along with them really well, but just because they don't change all the time and go all over the place, like an Aries or a Gemini might do that together and have a lot of fun, or like a Leo. But then with a Taurus, they are straightforward and they tell you the information that you want, and you can have a nice, pleasant conversation between them. And it just, yeah. But okay, let's think of positive and negative Taurus traits. Positive traits: reliability. They're sensual. They show they're caring in that way. They are very patient, and they deal with a lot. A lot of people may think that they put themselves in that path and let themselves do with it, but they're just not capable of kind of moving themselves away when something runs towards them. So they have to kind of deal with it. So, you know, it's good if a Taurus will warn you beforehand. They will warn people. And it's because they are kind of like a rock. And then when like a fire sign comes barging in, well, to them it's like, I warned you, like, you're going to piss me off. I don't want you to piss me off, because once I've passed that wall, once you've broken down my walls, no turning back. I can't help myself if I lose my temper at you. Like, you know, they're just like emotions bundled up, and their emotions are hidden and everything, and they can be, on the negative side, they can explode and get very angry, and other people may not see why, but it's pretty evident to the Taurus. But once they get angry, they kind of turn into another mode. People may see like Gemini as two-faced, but they kind of have a more contact with all their personalities and everything. The Taurus personality itself and its essence is actually very divided, because they want to stay in a very pleasant state. But, you know, the world doesn't work that way. They're not a Scorpio, so they can't adapt and change. They don't want to change. They can't really do it. They probably would if they knew how, but it's just a very simple thing that they can't do. And because I didn't really talk much about Aries, let's compare Aries and Taurus. Now, Aries is stubborn, Taurus is obstinate. And Aries will admit they're selfish. They're very straightforward and everything, but they will lie. They'll lie. They'll make really stupid little lies that everyone can kind of see through. I know I can, for every Aries that I know. But it's really innocent, and I can forgive them. And in all honesty, everyone should be able to forgive an Aries because it's not something that they are intentionally doing to destroy anyone's life. With a Taurus, they will conceal certain things, but because they just want everything to be peaceful on the outside, and they don't like digging deep into other people's lives at all. They really appreciate the separateness of their life and other people's lives. They understand that people are different. They can talk about it, but as long as they have a place to come home, they'll be happy and peaceful with you. If something in their life is disrupting that, they will not be happy, and it will be really obvious, and they will just stay at home and have a really hard time. Tauruses don't like to move. They don't like much change. But of course, the moon is exalted in Taurus, and moon will help emotions flow better, which is really good. Moon in Taurus is a really good placement because it's security. Taurus is security, and our emotions need to be secured. And our mental state. It's a bit slower, and it's nice to kind of deal with that in your emotions. The sun is not as happy in Taurus because the sun's all about ego and self, and Tauruses aren't really focused on the self. They are focused on their surroundings, their immediate surroundings, their body, and the food that they're eating, and not necessarily focusing on the health of it, but the taste, touch, sound, sight, and everything like that. The senses. They like the senses. Whereas Gemini are very sensitive, tactilely. Like, they can feel everything. They're so sensitive, and that's why they're constantly changing and all over the place. They don't like to feel everything. Geminis avoid the physical body and go into their mind. But Taurus, which is in between Aries and Gemini, likes the in-between of being just peaceful and eating pleasant food and everything. I've dated a Taurus. I have a Taurus sister, a Taurus brother. Taurus falls in that area of my chart, the third house, which is siblings. So my siblings and people around me while I'm at home and like neighbors are supposed to be Taurus-like, and it makes sense. Arguing with the Taurus is really difficult and annoying because, well, just because it is, and it's really annoying because they don't want to budge. And once they say something, they'll remember what they said. You can show them proof to the end of the fucking world. Sorry for the swearing. But they won't listen. I don't care. You Tauruses out there, you're going to disagree with me, but a lot of you are like that. I'm not going to say all of you because I can really have a conversation without arguing with some of you. But if something comes up with a Taurus, they'll just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about how they're always right and they always will be right. And it's funny because you know they want the peace, but they won't hide it like a Libra. Like, they won't just cover it up with a smile. They'll just keep barging and say, no, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. And that's it. Thanks.